discuss to you the first major components of the curriculum design, which is the generating aims, how to generate aims, goals, and objectives. So, what do you think is the similarities between these three? The, the aims, goals, and objectives. Huh? Yes, target with the isa pa, wala. What do you think is the similarities na nakikita mo the same na paano ay yeah. Yes, intended outcome, pwede. Expected, pwede itong kay Z target, expected outcome. So these three are something synonymous because it is the target, it's like family or the expected or the end goal of the learning experience. So the first one is we have the aim. So but before that, we all know naman, di ba, that how our curriculums, yung ginaon sa pagbato ang curriculum, why is it important, and why, how it reflects sa ang society. So, most people think that the curriculum should mirror in the global perspective, but others think that, but others believe that the local concerns should be prioritized first. According to OR, focusing in the global perspective will results in neglect in the local perspective. So, but in our curriculums, our aims, goals, and objectives are being mirrored in the national policy and the national philosophy. So first we have the aims. So educational experience. Aims are educational aims are lifetime aspirations. They are purposely stated generally because they are developed for general level of education and by the society. So it means aims is in long-term directions for the learner. So just to be clear that when we talk about aims of the curriculum, it's about the entire program. Just like for example, the K-12 curriculum, the aims of the K-12 curriculum, di ba? It's a long-term direction for students because we first have the kindergarten, elementary, junior high, senior high. So in total of 13 years to attain the aims of the K-12 curriculum, for example, and just remember that the aims can be attained gradually along the way as we are learning in our education. So, as like what I said kanina that our curriculums is embodied in is mirrored in the national policy and the national philosophy. Uh, it's also embedded in the 1987 Philippine Constitution, uh, in the Article 40, Section 3, Paragraph 1 and 2. It states there that uh, all schools should aim to inculcate patriotism and nationalism. Please read the context and in the
Inculcate patriotism and nationalism, foster
Foster
love
love
for
for
humanity,
humanity, promote respect for human rights, appreciate the role of national heroes in the historical development of the country, teach the rights and duties of citizenship, strengthen ethical and spiritual values, encourage critical and creative thinking, broaden scientific and technological knowledge, and promote vocational efficiency.
So these are that these statements are our curriculum should our go again for our aims in the curriculum should be embedded in the 1987 Philippine Constitution. So whatever happens, even the curriculums changes since 1987 up until now, the curriculum should still agree or adhere this statement in the
Statements.
1987 Constitution. Philippine Constitution. So next is, aside from the national policy and the national philosophy, Ronald Dahl also add three that educational aim should address the intellectual, which is the cognitive, and the social personal, which is the affective and the productive. So intellectual aims focus on the acquisitions and comprehension of knowledge, problem-solving skills, and methods of thinking. So it's very simple that it's about the brain. So, di ba? And next one, the social personal aims are concerned with the ways in which people relate to the other individuals and society and how individuals view themselves. These aims address individual psychology and how people fit into their families and community. So it's about the interrelationship. So it's about the involvement of the community because we as human beings, we are also social beings. So we have to interact, we have to interconnect with other people. So apart from Ronald Dahl, we have also here the perspective of
Ernst
R.C. and
Hans.
Hans. Where is the? Oh my gosh, nawala. So yeah. So he, on the other hand, they are Marcin and Hans can add four other types of aims. The first one is physicality, dealing with the development of intellectual, the true healthy bodies.
Kasi ma'am?
The second one is aesthetic, the dealing with values and responsibilities of the art, the moral, dealing with the values and appropriate conduct, and spiritual, dealing with the transcendence of self. So it's also important that our aim in the curriculum does not only focus on the intellectual, but rather it also focus in the physicality and the affective of the learners, and also the values and the appreciation of their art. It also states here the morality and the spirituality. So we should always remember that as a teacher, we must always consider that we must also consider that what do we want. How we consider that we want a good functioning citizen. Like we want a good functioning learner. So if we want a good functioning learners, if we want a good functioning citizen, we must establish morality. And the next one is we have this from spirituality. Regarding with spirituality, it depends on the society where is the education, because you see there are education, society and education. But in a global perspective, it's encouraged to have spirituality in the curriculum. And aside from that, spirituality also indicates in our 1987 Philippine Constitution, the same article, the same raaning tutong last kagaing na.
Kung kang kuan?
But it is in the same article, the same section, but it is in paragraph 4. Okay. So the next. Ano ba ang paan? Spirituality.
Yes.
So we have here the generating goals. So like aims, educational goals are group expectations. So it could be the teacher, it could be the principal, it could be the whole school. So and they may be week, months, or even years to attain. So kanina, we discussed the aims is a long-term direction. Diba? Direction for students. In goals, it is just, it can be attained. The goal or the objective of the objectives can be attained within the week, months, or even a year. So there might be a goal for the whole quarter. There might be a set of goal for the entire semester. There could be set of goals for the entire term or for the entire academic year. So goals differ from aims is that they are attainable yet many remain unattained. Why? Because just like for example, di ba, we have the NSAT, the National Secondary Achievement
Achievement
Test.
Test.
So the goal of school might be nga manang dapat mas dako ang score nila next year kaysa karon. Yes, why is it attainable? Why sometimes it's unattainable? Because we cannot, we not ma-predict on what happened next year. Whatever sa pag-consult of what sa school, it still depends on the students if they want to answer sila tarong because sa ato agad nga party nila ay tarongan, di ba kay kapuyan tayo. So we have here the figures, the relationship between aims, goals, and objectives. So the first one is the formative evaluation. So it is the process, and the next one we have the aims. So the process first is the aims. So di ba, long-term direction for students. We have also the goals, di ba? The group's expectation. The same lang dapat siya sa aims nga na direction, but it can attain within the weeks or in a quarter or in a year. So as we are attaining the goals, we are also influencing to attain the aims gradually. We are also attaining the aims gradually. And next we have the objectives that will be tackled the next days slides. Mabalik ako din ano. So generating objectives. As discussed, aims and goals are a long-term direction for students. Objectives are short-term. So objectives refers to what is expected of students in daily life activities. So objectives is a daily goals for the students is what is the expected learning outcome for the students. Diba every lessons we have different objectives, diba? Lesson 1 objective. The students are expected to and so that is the objectives that can be attained in their daily life. So, kanina, di ba, as we are attaining the objectives, our daily learning outcomes, we are also influencing to attain the goals. As we are attaining the goals, we are also influencing to gradually attain the aims. Okay, get siya. The next one is summative evaluation. So that is to check na if it is tama or if it is effective or not. So, in generating objectives, the objective should be clearly specified and understood and agreed on. Objective must be appropriate. Objective should be arranged logically so as to make sense when units of instruction and evaluation are being determined. Objectives require regular revision. So, okay. So in generating objectives, the objective should be clearly specified objectives. Having a clearly specified objective is very important for both teachers and students so that they will know what is the expected learning outcome within that day. And objective must be appropriate. Yes, it should be appropriate for a certain subject, for a certain grade level, for a certain context. Because you see, if the objectives is not fit for that certain grade level, dili kita siya ma-attain. Diba? If ang inyong itudloan is grade 1, but ang objectives is pang grade 6, do you think ma-attain na nila? Diba? So it should be appropriate for the grade level. An objective should be arranged logically, so it should also arrange logically. So logically that makes sense, so that we can make sense within the overall unit of instructions and overall evaluation. So the objectives require regular revision. So the objectives are not set in the stone. It's not like kang Moises 10 Commandments na nakaukit sa bato. It's not like that. The objectives should be reviewed and revised, no? Because to ensure that the learning is still relevant still relevant and effective for the students and for the curriculum. We have here the types of objectives. The first one is the educational objectives. Okay, so educational objectives switch from objectives for specific curriculum area. So it is focusing on the specific or often the subject or the subject within the program at a certain grade level to specific outcome of classroom instruction. Abby Brown and Timothy Green note that an instructional objective should be clearly indicate an observable or quantifiable student behavior. Uh, George Wisner and Alan Rodensky called instructional objectives intended learning outcomes, which they define statement of precisely what the students need to learn. So what's the fact, the concept, or and the techniques. So the educational objectives it is focused on it focused on the specific curriculum subject so of the educational. So it means that uh, focus on the educational program or educational subject to achieve or a certain object instruction. So just like for example, if you are teaching about, if you are a teacher and you are teaching about what is nature, then we are teaching about the nature. So while you are discussing, you don't know what happens in the mind of the students. So that's why in the educational objectives might be the students will be able to identify the aspects of nature. So in that way, we can ensure that if the learnings really, or if the students really attain the learning or
Learning outcomes.
learning outcomes. So educational objectives should be clearly indicate some quantifiable, indicate some observable and quantifiable student behavior. So it means that we can see or we can measure if the students really attain the objective. So that is the educational. The second one is we have the educational objectives. So generally, educators and other general public think that educational objectives should be understood in terms of observable or measurable accomplishment. That is, the objective is behavioral. Students can show that they have acquired particular skills or knowledge. So in this objective, it's about the acquired skills or knowledge of the student. So major assert that an educational objective must describe the behavior that will indicate a learner has achieved the objectives, the condition or situation imposed on the learner when he or she demonstrates the achievements and the minimum proficiency level that will be acceptable. So, behavioral objectives is emphasizes on the measurable and behavioral accomplishment of the learner. So, this objectives is aiming to demonstrate what the learners acquired or demonstrate the acquired skills or the knowledge of the learners. Just like for example, di ba, human naman ka teach about the nature. So the behavioral objectives now is might be that the students will be able to write a paragraph explaining about the nature. So what is the skill demonstrate there? Di ba, the writing. So and behavioral objectives it's about the objective of this is the skills or knowledge of the students. The non-behavioral objectives is supporters of non-behavioral objectives used for such as appreciate, know, and understood. They consider stating objectives to specifically confines learning the measurable achievements. Objectives that focus higher order learning, analytical thinking, and appreciation of the literature are likely to be ignored. So it's about the application now of the learning that they have. So these objectives is they use words like appreciation, know, and understand. So it means it's about the application of the learners into themselves. So just like for example, di ba nag-teach mo naman, nag-teach na the fact and so on and so forth about the nature, nag-demonstrate na sila of skills, which is the non-behavioral, na-demonstrate na sila. This non-behavioral, na-demonstrate na sila skills. The non-behavioral objectives, it's about the appreciation of applications sa ilahang kaugalingon. So the objectives of these in the non-behavioral will be the students will be able to appreciate, or the students will see the importance of preserving the nature. So that is about non-behavior. It's about the self-reflection na siya self-reflection na siya sa students. So unlike sa educational objectives and behavioral objectives, these non-behavioral objectives is hard to measure kay students naman siya nakapaloob. So yeah, so to sum up, the goals are the aims is the long-term directions. The goals is that can be attained week, months, quarter, or years. The objectives can be attained within a day, and we have also the three types of objectives. We have the educational, it's about the cognitive, it's about the fact, the concept. The next one, we have the behavioral, it's about demonstrating the skills. And then the last one, we have the non-behavioral objectives, it's about the applications, it's about the applications of the learning towards themselves. So that's the end of my part. Thank you, everyone.